Almost. All right, petrol heads, gather round. Today we're diving into something that sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie. We're talking about hydrogen-powered cars, those futuristic machines that promise to run on something that's basically water. Imagine driving a car that emits nothing but water vapor. Sounds like magic, right? Sounds bonkers, right? Well, it is pretty complicated, but stick with me. The technology behind hydrogen cars is fascinating and a bit complex, but it's worth understanding. Imagine a world where filling up your car doesn't involve a smelly petrol station. Instead, you pull up to a sleek, modern pump that dispenses hydrogen gas. No more gasoline fumes, just clean energy. Instead, you pull up to a pump that dispenses hydrogen gas. This gas then gets fed into your car's fuel cell where the magic happens. The hydrogen combines with oxygen to produce electricity, which powers the car. This gas then gets fed into your car's fuel cell where the magic happens. The fuel cell generates electricity through a chemical reaction between hydrogen and oxygen, and the only byproduct is water. We're talking zero tailpipe emissions, just pure water vapor puffing out. No more carbon dioxide, no more pollutants, just clean, pure water vapor. Now, before you go trading in your beloved petrol guzzler, there are a few things you need to know about these hydrogen heroes. They are still relatively new to the market, and there are some challenges to overcome. They're not without their quirks, and the road to a hydrogen-powered future might be bumpier than a dirt track rally. Infrastructure is still being developed, and the technology is evolving, but the potential is enormous. Engineers and scientists are working tirelessly to make hydrogen cars more efficient and affordable. It's an exciting time for automotive innovation, and who knows, in a few years we might all be driving cars that run on water. Okay, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Hydrogen cars, or more specifically, hydrogen fuel cell electric vehicles, FCVs, work a bit differently than your standard electric car. Instead of plugging into the mains to charge a battery, these bad boys generate their own electricity on board using a fuel cell. Think of a fuel cell as a tiny power station for your car. It combines hydrogen gas from the tank with oxygen from the air. This chemical reaction creates electricity to power the motor, with water vapor as the only byproduct. Pretty neat, eh? No nasty fumes, no planet-killing emissions, just pure clean energy. It's enough to make even the biggest petrol head crack a smile. But don't get too excited just yet. There are a few speed bumps on this road to eco-friendly motoring. For starters, hydrogen refueling stations are still few and far between. And while hydrogen is the most abundant element in the universe, extracting it in a pure form can be energy-intensive and costly. Plus, there's the challenge of storing hydrogen safely and efficiently. It needs to be kept under high pressure, which requires robust and expensive tanks. Despite these hurdles, the potential benefits of hydrogen cars are enormous. They offer a clean, renewable alternative to fossil fuels and could play a crucial role in reducing our carbon footprint. So while we're not quite there yet, the future of hydrogen-powered motoring looks promising. With continued innovation and investment, we might just see these eco-friendly vehicles become a common sight on our roads. Now, you might be thinking, hang on, aren't electric cars already doing that? And you'd be right. Battery electric vehicles, BEVs, have a head start in the race to replace our gas guzzlers. They've been around for a while now, and their popularity is only growing. With advancements in battery technology, these cars are becoming more efficient and affordable. They're already zipping around our streets silently and efficiently. The lack of engine noise is a welcome change in our noisy urban environments. Plus, the instant torque from electric motors makes them fun to drive. So where do hydrogen cars fit into this electric equation? Hydrogen fuel cell vehicles, FCVs, are the new kids on the block, and they bring some unique advantages to the table. Well, they have a few tricks up their sleeves. Hydrogen cars use fuel cells to generate electricity, which powers the electric motor. This means they can offer the same smooth and quiet ride as electric cars. For starters, refueling a hydrogen car is much faster than charging an electric one. It takes just a few minutes to fill up a hydrogen tank, similar to refueling a traditional gasoline car. We're talking minutes at the pump versus hours plugged into a wall. This can be a significant advantage for those who are always on the go and don't have time to wait for a charge. Plus, hydrogen cars generally have a longer driving range, making them more practical for long journeys. This is particularly appealing for people who frequently travel long distances and don't want to worry about finding charging stations along the way. But it's not a clean sweep for hydrogen. There are still some hurdles to overcome. Electric cars are currently cheaper to buy, and the charging infrastructure is way ahead. There are thousands of charging stations already in place, making it convenient for electric car owners to recharge their vehicles. And let's not forget that producing hydrogen isn't always as clean as it sounds, but we'll get to that later. The process of extracting hydrogen can be energy intensive and may involve fossil fuels, which could offset some of the environmental benefits. So the showdown between electric and hydrogen cars is just beginning. Both have their strengths and weaknesses, and the future of eco-mobility will likely see a mix of both technologies. Stay tuned as we dive deeper into the pros and cons of each and explore what the future holds for our roads. Despite the challenges, the world of hydrogen tech is buzzing with innovation. Car manufacturers are pouring money into research and development, and the results are pretty impressive. We're talking about more efficient fuel cells, lighter hydrogen tanks, and cars that can go further on a single tank. Governments are also getting on board, investing in hydrogen infrastructure and providing incentives for people to make the switch. It's like a global game of catch-up, with everyone vying for a piece of the hydrogen pie. But before we all get carried away with hydrogen hype, let's talk about the elephants in the room. Or should I say, the hurdles on the racetrack. First up, cost. Hydrogen cars are still significantly more expensive to produce than their petrol and electric counterparts. And then there's the infrastructure, or lack thereof. We need a massive rollout of hydrogen refueling stations if we want these cars to be a viable option for the masses. Right now, finding a hydrogen pump is like finding an honest politician. Nearly impossible. These are big challenges, but not insurmountable. With enough investment and political willpower, we could see hydrogen fuel becoming as commonplace as petrol or diesel. But it's going to take a monumental effort. Now, for the big question, how eco-friendly is hydrogen, really? Well, it depends. Remember how I said producing hydrogen isn't always clean? That's because most hydrogen is currently produced from natural gas, a fossil fuel. Not exactly a win for the planet. However, there are cleaner ways to produce hydrogen, like using renewable energy sources like wind and solar power. This green hydrogen is the holy grail of the hydrogen economy, but it's still in its early stages and expensive to produce. Buckle up. The million-dollar question, or should I say the multi-billion-dollar question, is whether hydrogen cars are the future of transportation. It's a tough one to call, even for a seasoned car enthusiast like myself. There's no denying the potential of hydrogen-powered zero-emission driving, fast refueling, and long range. It's a tantalizing prospect. But the challenges are significant. The cost, the lack of infrastructure, and the environmental concerns associated with hydrogen production are major roadblocks. And let's not forget the electric revolution that's already underway. Battery electric vehicles are improving all the time, and they have a head start in terms of cost and infrastructure. So what's the verdict? Are hydrogen cars the future? Well, it's more complicated than a simple yes or no. I think hydrogen has the potential to play a significant role in a future of sustainable transportation, especially for long-haul trucking and other heavy-duty applications where battery electric vehicles might struggle. But it's not a silver bullet. We need to see significant advancements in green hydrogen production and a massive investment in infrastructure before hydrogen cars become a common sight on our roads. Until then, I'll be sticking to my trusty petrol-powered beast, but I'll be watching the hydrogen space with a keen eye. It's going to be an